what God wants, right? For us to
Mhm.
help each other out in this lifetime and do good deeds and be a good person and make this
Mhm.
world brighter than we found it.
Oh, exactly. Definitely. My gosh. Now I looked at your website. Oh my heavens. I love it.
Well, it's like it's funny you say that because that's been my thing that has been frustrating me because I just don't I don't work on it. It's like every time I'm out there, I'm socializing, I'm on the streets, I'm meeting people, I'm helping this, that,
Hmm.
getting the latest whoever I'm going to be working with one on one. And in terms of like social medias and professionalism across the board, it's hilarious how I'm not, taking the time to update stuff and then to
Yeah.
make it all cohesive throughout all my platforms. But I'm like, okay, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. But yeah, I
You've
haven't been.
got to, because that is an awesome website. And her website
Okay.
is corinnesunshine.com. And it's a beautiful, it's so colorful. I
Yeah.
honestly, that's what blew me away. It's just so colorful and
Yeah,
so
it's so
pretty.
colorful.
I love the pictures going by. Now, you do a podcast yourself. I know you do, you're on Instagram
Yeah, I
and you
used
do
to. I
that.
used to. I used to do the podcast and then I burnt myself out. I was like doing everything. I made sure if I interviewed you, for instance,
Hmm.
I would be the one doing everything, you know how it is, right?
Yeah.
And but then I would make sure that you would have all the clicks and ticks and in your, just listening, and I would perfect it and spend so much time perfecting it. And when it came to me, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care how I sound, but so it's just I did too much, and it was
Yeah.
during a time of huge transitions, and then I burnt myself out. So I was like, forget it. And then I was like, well, after a few years or something, I was like, well, I want to still interview people who are making this world better. And so
Hmm.
that's when I'm like, hey, let's do a live on my Instagram, hit record, and I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. I love doing things like that on Instagram. It's so much fun. You just record yourself, send it off, and there it is.
Right?
And it's done for you.
Yeah.
It's so easy. I like easy. I have to
You're so
admit.
cute. So,
You and see you. And
yeah.
so it's great. I love your your hair is so cool. And
Thank you.
it's funny because you know something. I was thinking about this. I think we were talking about this one other day. How we met.
I love how
You
we
were the
met.
girlfriend of one of the guys that I worked with. I was the
God bless.
receptionist at the company.
Mm.
And it's funny because I always knew the partners more than I knew the actual employees. I never met Pablo until well after the fact that you and I had been talking. It was like with Jamie Matthews. I never started talking to Chris. Chris, I can't remember his last name now,
That's okay, Chris.
in
Yeah.
Canadian Living, and
Mm.
Jamie and I knew each other long before I knew Chris. It
That's
was
amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
Well, when I saw you, Lori, I was like, who is this bright light and smiley and friendly? And it's like you can put Lori in a room with anybody and you can just talk to anybody about any topic. And so it's just so beautiful to have a face like that, a presence like that representing the company, the first thing you see when you
Mhm.
come in, because you want someone to feel relaxed. You want someone to feel at home and cozy and welcomed and I'll get you a coffee, or I'll do this, that, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Very considerate and a true empath.
Or
And
tell
so
models to shut up.
jokes. And so when I like met you, I was like, oh my God, who's my new Care Bear friend? Like, what is this? Because whenever I meet people around the world, I'm like, I'm collecting Care Bears. Do you want to be part of our Care Bear teams? Do you know the show, the TV show, the
I
cartoons back in
love
the
the
day?
Care Bears.
I was
I
obsessed with it.
actually, the funny thing is that I actually, a company I used to work for years and years and years ago, I was their office clerk, and they rented the Care Bear Tenderheart costume.
Oh
And
my
the person
God.
that they had to go into it, he was like 6 foot something.
Okay.
I mean, the head and the body wouldn't have connected. I mean, like there would have been this whole thing. I was the only one who actually fit the costume. So I jumped in it. I was on there Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday in that costume in the
That's
worst
so
kind
much
of
fun.
heat you can
Oh no, that's not
believe.
fun.
No, I learned. what you actually have to do in those costumes. But it
Yeah.
was amazing. It was so much fun. I walked down the street, down the path where there's like 4 or 5 stores and a bank. And I went down to the bank and I literally stood there at the bank window. Now, when you're in those heads, you can't see diddly. And I
Oh,
had
so
my
you,
hands like this around the thing, looking like I was looking in there as the bear. And
that's
everybody was turning
hilarious.
around. And it was just so much fun. I had so much fun
You
doing
do
it.
realize that it could be taken as something like, hey, is this some sort of crazy person about to rob a bank?
Well, yeah, oh yeah, it could have been. Back then they didn't think that.
They're like, is this a joke or is it like
Well,
should we
that's
be in
the
love or
thing.
fear right now?
Yeah. But the kids were having pictures taken with me, and actually that's one of the things that I actually liked about being that Care Bear that weekend was that my mom and I had a picture taken together, and it was our
Oh,
favorite picture of my mom and I together. Me as a Care Bear and my mom beside me.
I know
That
how
was
close
just
you
that
were.
was yeah. Yeah, that's it's still my favorite photo to show everybody. It was
Oh, well,
just a
it's so
beautiful photo.
cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when
Yeah.
what else drew me to you was your strong love of animals and how I can relate to that. And I remember
Hmm.
the time you're like, oh, I want to get one, I want to get one, I want to get one. I'm like, you will, you will, you will. And because I just knew, like, come on, like God wants us to have fun, to
Hmm.
play, to enjoy, and especially with huge hearts like you have as an empath, for you not to give that love and to receive it from other species that we,
Yeah.
we exist with on this planet, it just didn't make
Hmm.
sense to me. So I was like, no, you're gonna get animals, not just one, you're gonna get animals.
Oh
And
yeah.
sure enough,
I would have a farm if I could and just load
yeah,
it up with animals.
well,
I
you
really
could,
would.
you
I
could,
would definitely, definitely I
yeah,
would because I
yeah.
just absolutely love it. And now you had
Mhm.
little Carmelo. I'm so sorry that he's, over the rainbow, but
Yeah,
he's playing
no,
with my
I'm just,
guys.
oh, totally. I think, you know, so Caramello, for those who don't know, obviously, he was a Pomeranian, a little fluffy puff, you know, poof ball. And when I was living in Spain, in the north of Spain, with this beautiful Spanish man, he went to go to work and he dropped me off at like a mall one morning. And I'm walking around the mall and I'm like, okay. And I walk into a pet shop and then I see bunnies. Hello, you love bunnies.
I love bunnies.
And but the difference between Spain and here is that like there's like just an open thing you can like reach your hand in and pet.
Yeah.
And then the dogs are, yes, unfortunately, along a wall window thing in these cubes where they're all separated from us and terrible. It's so terrible, right? Anyways, so I see a Pomeranian and I've had Pomeranians my whole life. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh my God, can I pet that dog? I'm like, I know in Canada that if I were to ask, can I pet that dog?
It
They're
would
gonna
be no.
assume you're gonna like buy it and blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, 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 it's fine. I'm like, are you sure? Because like I'm not. They're like, yeah. Lady brings him out. Doesn't he kiss me and run up to everybody and come back to me? And I'm like, oh, he's me in dog form. He's loyal. He's friendly. He's like adorable and like, And so of course at the end of that experience, I'm like, okay, I have to put him back. And he puts his paws in the window and he looks at me with those eyes like you're not taking me with, like what's going on. And my heart, as you can imagine,
Yeah.
like broke, and for 2 days I'm like sad and crying to my boyfriend at the time, and he's like, Corina, he called me Corina, Corina, I'm gonna do this for you, but not for us. I'm like, whatever that means, but yeah, Ricardo, I told you that when you met me that I love children and animals, and so whatever. And so he got me him for 2 days later for my birthday. And yeah, he was the most amazing thing. But I had him for 14 years. And
Wow.
when I had to put him down because he had the most terrible neck arthritis issues and he'd twitch. And if he got out of place and I couldn't see his chiropractor, screaming, excruciating. I can't even imagine
Wow.
the pain. Because I know that
Yeah.
dogs, they can tolerate more pain than us. And if they're
Oh
letting you
yeah.
know they're in pain,
They're in
they're
pain. Yeah.
in, oh, and as an empath, don't you feel so deeply? So if they're hurting, it just rips
Hmm.
me apart.
Yep.
So I remember it was 4 in the morning, and I'm at my second mama, her home. She had passed since, and I was there, just taking care of the house before it was sold. It was just a very difficult time in my life. And there's Caramello screaming all of a sudden at 4 in the morning. I'm like, oh, what? You wake up in a panic, sleeping beside me
Hmm.
in the bed, and I'm just bawling. I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? And what do I have? And who am I going to call at 4 in the morning? And where do you go? But like
Yeah.
thousands of dollars emergency vet, right? And
Mm.
so I made that decision. I was like, that's it. And so I'm like, I'm going to euthanize him. And I found the most amazing man, this wonderful, classy gentleman from Iran, came to the home. There I was with my partner, and my family didn't want to stay. They're like, we're going, we can't. Some people can't
Mhm.
take
No,
that. And
and that's fine. It's whatever, you know, they can deal with.
oh, yeah. And it's awful because they do have to put a strong needle into his muscle.
Yeah.
So the last thing on earth is I want him to be in pain. So the guy's like, he's gonna bite you. I'm like, really? And so I'm holding him, and then of course the loudest shriek. I can't even imagine the pain if Caramella's gonna, bite my
Hmm.
hand to stop. And I'm like dying even more in my heart because I'm like, oh my God, all you want to do is protect your fur babies, right? And
Hmm.
anyways, it happened. And I remember for 2 weeks, I gut-wrenchingly cried. And this is
Oh
an
yeah.
important thing to note for anybody who is grieving or has grieved. It is very important to know that to feel the pain, because in this lifetime, there's a reason why we have emotions, right?
Hmm.
These feelings, it's energy in motion. And if you trap them in your body, it gets stored. It doesn't go away. It just turns and it manifests into something else, different diseases we have. And so I'm very raw. I feel things. So I freaking went deep, Lori, and I would cry for 2 weeks.
Hmm.
People would call me, how are you, Corinne? Like friends, fam, like you name it. It was beautiful knowing that like I had the support, and whenever I wanted to pick
Hmm.
up the phone or call back, whoever I wanted to call back, if I called anybody back, it's all a blur, right? But what was also interesting, spiritually speaking, and I know you're very much into spirit and very
Hmm.
spiritual,
Hmm.
that he came to me. He came to me. So when I was at my late second mama's house, Kathy's house, I'm having breakfast one morning, and don't I see in the distance but these beautiful trees blowing in the wind. And I swear to God, Lori, all of a sudden it formed into his face, from the black nose to his eyes. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
what? Because like the shadows and the
Yeah.
gaps, I'm like, and spirit talks to you in the most beautiful way. So he spoke to me in
Hmm.
that tree. And then that night I'm on the phone crying with my friend. I'm eating fruit I put on the plate, and I'm, moving my fork around and talking to my friend. Before you know it, don't I form in my subconscious or through Caramello, he's doing this to me. But the cantaloupe was like two eyes, a nose, a sad face, and there was a teardrop from the
Oh wow.
seed. So that was really cool. I'm like,
Oh
huh? And
wow.
I look at it, I'm like, oh my God. Because you don't realize what you're doing. You're talking on the phone, you're moving your thing
Yeah.
around. Oh my God. So he was letting me know he's so sad because, of course, the thought goes to your mind, like, who are we to play
Hmm.
God in that sense where we're
Hmm.
taking a life,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I thought to myself, did I do the right thing? Too late now, and
Oh
all this
yeah.
stuff. But in the
Exactly.
end, right? Oh my God.
Yeah.
But in the end, yeah, he comes to me, and there are a lot of psychics and mediums who tell me, I don't tell him I had a dog. They're like, there's this fluffy thing just always zooming around you. So he's with me, and my bubby is with me, and yeah, that's that.
That's cool. Yeah. When we had to do the same thing with Finnegan, one of our kitty cats, his brother Casey, who's now blind, um,
Oof.
we had to make that snap decision right at the vet because we took him in thinking that he had bronchitis or something like that because he was having struggling to breathe. So we took him into the
Ugh.
vet, and the vet comes in, takes an X-ray and everything, and says he's got cancer. And it's like he says, my suggestion is to put him down. I mean, it just like hit us. We never even thought about cancer. We just figured it was breathing problems because he had asthma. And we made that decision that yes, we'll put him down. No, we're not going to have his ashes come back with us. I regret that moment. I wish I had brought his ashes back. Um,
What would that do for you if you brought his ashes back with you? Like, is it just that the physical, like just to see something? Is that what it is?
I don't know because I've never ever had the ashes for any of my animals that have been put
Yeah.
down.
Ditto.
So
Yeah.
to me, I probably would have just buried them, or just left them in
Okay.
the cabinet with mom.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, she's
Yeah.
sitting on, Mr. Peanut Head. But
Wait, what?
I
What with your mom?
half her ashes are in a Mr. Peanut Head container, ceramic
Oh
thing.
my
Yeah,
God, I love you.
yeah.
Oh my God,
Mike
I
bought
love
it.
you.
Mike bought it for her, and we decided that when she goes, she wanted to go in a cat teapot. Well, the cat teapot was small, so she went in that, and that's where she's buried in Scarborough in Pine Hill Cemetery. And
I
the other
love
half is
you.
she's up here with me in the Mr. Peanut Head thing.
Oh my God, I love you. So when I come over, I will not be accepting those cookies from that cookie jar.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. but but it is so funny that like these animals are with us for so long, and or even a short time, because some people only have their pets a short time, like my two rabbits. They both they both died at home, and it was heartbreaking. And I mean, I miss all my animals. I mean, I truly do, but I know they're better off over the rainbow. And I get visits from them here and there. I mean, it's
Oh
not as if I
yeah.
don't have rabbits up here. I mean, like, we got rabbits running all over the place outside, stray ones. So
Oh,
they're supposed to
beautiful.
be outside. So I mean, like, I can still see my rabbits here, and what have you. But yeah, it's hard when you're an empath to, you know, that the emotion is very, very difficult. Now, for those who don't know what an empath is, what is an empath?
An empath that to me is someone who feels very deeply, who's highly in tune and sensitive and can sometimes pick up on energy, definitely the tonation and the fluctuation in the voice, the facial expression, someone who has like heightened awareness,
Mhm.
who has a big, big, big heart and is not afraid to use it. And and I find in my collection of friends around the world and from clients I've spoken to and had the pleasure of serving and being with in their huge transitional periods of their lives, that any empath I've ever come across has gone through heavy stuff in their life
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
really like has gone through the depths to really know. And yeah, is really drawn to um, people and animals usually.
Mhm.
Um, and I think the empaths are here to feel deeply, to bridge the gap between our brothers and sisters that don't get it, that aren't really
Yeah.
connected to their hearts,
Yeah.
and to show them the way of how to communicate and how to feel and how to be more sensitive to those and understanding of those who can't
Mhm.
express themselves as easily as maybe you and I can.
Yeah, exactly. That's very true. Now, on your website, and I am going to plug your website, and people are going to go to it. Now, your website states heal, love, and play. What do you mean by that?
So I think at every moment we have the choice to do the right thing or the wrong thing. I think the devil and the angel are always talking to us.
Mhm.
And with that in life, there's a lot of temptations.
Mhm.
And then there's a lot of gut instincts. And it's up to, if the brain, the ego overrides, your initial reaction. Like let's say when I come into a room and I meet new people and I'm like, oof, I don't like how I feel, my gut instinct. I don't like how I
Mhm.
feel inside in my heart. And then if I choose to like override that, I'm like, well, because of this what X, Y, and Z reasons, or my friend knows, or this work function, or oh my what this person says is okay. If I choose to ignore, first of all, spirit doesn't get offended. They don't have egos like we do. Okay.
Mhm.
They're
Yep.
in the light. So they won't be upset if they initially say warning, warning, and then you're like, no, it is fine for whatever reason.
They're
That's
going to
fine.
say, well, that's
But
up to you.
exactly, it's all up to you. They want to protect us and guide us, and it's
Mhm.
endless love. So when I say heal, play, love, it's because at every moment, we have the choice to do the right thing or the wrong thing. So if we choose the wrong thing, right? And we know we decide, we're the deciding factors of what
Mhm.
feels right and feels wrong within us, right? then we incur karma, and people say karma is a bee,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
It's not. It's beautiful. If I'm choosing to be a giant bee, that's what I chose, and therefore it's gonna come back to me. It's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. But if I choose to be guided by the angels and listen to my heart and clear all the clutter that I got going on, all the muck inside me, then I'm gonna have a beautiful life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I say heal, play, love, it's because it never ends. So we're
Mm-hmm.
constantly healing, shedding the layers that are no longer serving us. I call it I part the clouds to get to the sunshine within people. I can so easily scan people's energy fields and see what's going on and see their blockages or huge blockages, the clouds. And I bring that into the light and I say, hey, let's deal with it. So heal. Yes, we got to heal. I'm constantly healing. No one's got it all figured out. If they think they do, they're narcissists, run for the hills, or they're
Mm-hmm.
psychopaths, run for the hills.
Or a
Um,
narcissist psychopath.
oh my God, forget about it, right? Run, fly.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and then play, I work with the inner child. I think that we are here to enjoy, be in joy,
Mm-hmm.
to have fun and play like the big kids we are in the playground of life.
Mm-hmm.
And love, oh my God, it's our guiding light. It's what connects us all. Our heart, if my heart, remember, heart's a muscle. If your
Mm-hmm.
heart is damaged, just like if this is damaged, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
work on it, repair it, do exercises. What about this thing that you cannot see? Well, I'm
Exactly.
not right. So what if I've been grieving a relationship or a death, and it's kind of the same thing if you have to grieve someone who's no longer in your life, right? The
Mm-hmm.
relationship that is over if they're no longer
Yep.
in your life. But then there's also a transition. That's another story because I have many ex-boyfriends that I transitioned to friendships, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
it looks differently, of course, than
Mm-hmm.
a regular guy friendship that I have, but anyways, there's a transition, but you still have to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's so important to understand that we're constantly, well, I'm trying to constantly shed the layers that no longer serve me. I want to part those clouds to get to my sunshine, my heart, my essence,
Mm-hmm.
my joy, and to play. I'm
Mm-hmm.
obviously not going to play at a funeral. I'm not going to play in serious moments, right? If someone's
Mm-hmm.
opening up to me and venting or whatever it is, having a deep heart to heart and holding space, it's not a moment for me to be all silly and play.
Yeah.
And right, and then love, like we're here to love. I think we're here um to heal, to forgive, not to forget, but to
Mm-hmm.
forgive and to give, to do good deeds and to receive love, to feel worthy to receive love, because a lot of people can't, they don't feel worthy enough to receive love, a
Mm-hmm.
compliment, right?
It's compliments are one of the hardest things to take. I myself have had that same problem. I don't take compliments easy, but I've learned now to, when somebody gives me a compliment, I just say thank you.
That's huge progress because
Yeah.
it has to do with our childhood. That's why I work with the inner
Mm-hmm.
child. Like if
Mm-hmm.
we, and if you want, we can go off camera. We can talk about that later if you ever want, and how
Mm-hmm.
we can just remove those clouds because
Mm-hmm.
it all stems from our childhood. Like the
Mm-hmm.
essence within you, Lori, is so pure. I mean, right when I saw you, I was like, she's my best friend. She's my soul sister. And I have a lot of best friends, so it's funny to say
Yeah.
best. I don't know why we
Yeah.
even have
I'm one
that,
of
but
them.
yeah, you're amazing. You're one of my soul sisters. And because I see people's hearts, that's my gift.
Mm-hmm.
That's my superpower. I can see if they give a beep about me or not.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Bottom line. And regarding, our childhood, that's why I work with the inner child because I want to help guide people to remove those blockages that have been keeping them, weighed down
Mm-hmm.
from the weight we keep on ourselves physically. That is to cushion us, that's to protect us, to the coping mechanisms we have. And don't I have them still that I go to
Mm-hmm.
when it's too much? I'm like, oh, I need to, whatever I
Yeah.
choose to do.
Yeah.
To not being able to receive compliments,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny. At one point in my life, I wasn't able to believe the compliments. Not that I couldn't receive, well, yeah, that was part of not receiving it, but I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
believe it because that was when I was really young. I would lie to people and go out of my way and be kind and say things that weren't true to
Mm-hmm.
make them feel good. So anytime somebody was saying something to me, it could have been genuine. I was like, wait, how do I know if they're, and then I'm like, wait, Corinne, what the hell are you doing? Stop it. Like, if you want to be able to receive this, give
You got
good
to be able
karma
to.
out. It's
Yeah,
all a mirror. It's all a lesson.
exactly.
It's all a lesson. It's
Now
all a
you
lesson.
do your website is more of an events thing. Now I know you've done events in the past. Um, you've gone away for like a weekend or so. What do you do on those weekend things that you the retreat? I call them retreats.
Yeah. Yeah. Retreats, play shops, fun experiences, playful experiences. So I always, I mean, I used to, and I've been talking about putting more events together. And people are asking when. I do
Hmm.
have a workshop coming up at this festival in August. We can talk about that later. But when I put together these events in the past, I would get an idea. I'm like, okay, what do I want to achieve here? Okay, let's
Hmm.
understand the inner child, or what is the inner child, stuff like that. So I come up
Hmm.
with a theme. And then from there, I reach out to these incredible facilitators because I believe with both right brain and left brain in our skulls, we've got the analytical, logical side, we've got the playful, creative, spiritual side, all that stuff. So I believe in merging both of those because that's in our own heads, it's in our own
Hmm.
bodies. So let's combine that to get to the root of the problem so we can heal together, play together, and love. And so in these experiences, I personally reach out to people who have their hearts, open, great facilitators. So I would reach out to energy healers, yoga
Hmm.
teachers, psychologists, psychiatrists, naturopathic doctors, chefs, bakers,
Hmm.
all these sponsors, like all these stores in my favorite areas of Toronto. And I'd get, donations and prizes and all that because I love being spoiled and I love spoiling my facilitators and my guests.
Yeah.
So, what does it look like? It looks like a giant playground for adults. And it also looks like healing moments for
Hmm.
adults. And it looks like safety, to feel safe. Because all I want is for your inner child to come out and feel safe to play and to be her full expression. So,
Hmm.
how is Lori going to feel safe if the guests aren't kosher, so to speak, if the facilitators suck, if like the environment is not good energy? Everything has to be factored
Hmm.
in. And so
Yeah.
when I used to cultivate these experiences for people, oh my God, did I ever plan and plan and plan and plan? And you never get paid financially for all the amount of work you're doing, but I got paid, I got rewarded, with my soul, my heart, and my experiences, oh my God, exponentially to this day because it was so well received, all of them. And people
Hmm.
left with like the biggest smile on their
Smile.
faces and their hearts, and they're beaming, they're glowing. I'm like, yes,
See, now
success.
that would be perfect for corporate
Yeah.
offices and that to get their employees. I mean, like employees get burnt out so fast nowadays. That would be perfect for them bring you in, even if it's just like something for a lunch hour, to have you do something like a lunch hour seminar.
Pick me up.
And yeah,
Yeah, pick me up. It
exactly.
wouldn't, yeah, 100%. That would be more of a playful experience rather than
Hmm.
a healing one.
Yeah.
Because for those ones, it's, a lot of healing. Like we'll go deep into the inner
Hmm.
child psyche. But then there's the balance between the dancing at night, and I would buy these like special paints, and then I'd buy these, the black lights, the purple looking
Yeah.
thing, and then at night you glow. So we're like glowing and dancing to music, and we're in nature under the stars when we're tense and we're and there was no alcohol. No
You don't
alcohol.
need alcohol to have fun.
Well, yeah, agreed. And not only that, I don't know if you've ever studied alcohol, but it's called spirits. And in, Egypt, it's alkul, it's goblins and ghouls. It brings in bad spirits and it
Hmm.
physically lowers your vibration. And scientifically, it, it eats away our brain. So
Hmm.
it's crazy how brainwashed we are to thinking that it's actually a good thing. It's accepted. It's going for, you're going out with the guys, drink beer. You're going on a date, order one. No, please, people,
Hmm.
enough. Let's have higher vibrational substances in our body if we're going to choose anything.
Hmm.
And let's get this right because life's hard enough out there as is. Let's not make it worse for us by,
Exactly.
yeah. So that's why they leave higher vibing because they're, not only in nature and hello, isn't nature perfect? It's us humans that are trying to figure this out.
Yeah. So true. And we're
right?
destroying it too
Yeah,
as we
some
go
parts of the
along.
world. Yeah, some parts of the world, absolutely. And so when you're in nature, you're in this energy field that literally, physically, raises your vibration. And Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, she holds us. And
Hmm.
anything, so when I do energy work with my hands on people, um, I remember one time, it was New Year's. It was 2 years ago. I'm at this event in Toronto, and it's hustling and bustling. And I decided to do a good deed for New Year's to bring in the good year. I would, offer my healing services for such a cheap cost, just $20, or pay what you can, whatever.
Oh,
And yeah, just to like do a good deed. And I
yeah.
love doing good deeds. And those who need it, that can't afford it, like, why is that? How is that their fault? If they can't
Hmm.
afford it. And I still do that to this day.
Hmm.
I do either energy exchange or whatever it may be, or and or pay what we can. And so I remember working with this one client because my gift, what I can do, one of my gifts is that I can see into people's past, and
Hmm.
I can see where their blockages are, and I can see vivid imagery of, one guy was like hugging himself in a closet, when he was
Oh,
6 years old. Or one girl would be in her polka dot dress and she's like a tomboy now. I'm like, did you wear dresses? Because, and she's like, yeah, I love that polka dot dress. I'm like, whoa. Anyway, so I couldn't read this guy for the life of me, Lori. I couldn't read him. I'm like, I don't know why I can't read you. I can't accept your money. And he's like, oh, it's okay. And he laid down. But I was able to do energy work, right? That, that was easy. Don't I want to go to his heart? I pulled out the gunkiest energy. It was like sticking and heavy. And I'm like, what? I thought it was going to be stuck in me. I'm like, oh my God. Because nobody taught me what to do with this stuff, Laura. I just
yeah.
intuitively like do this stuff. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just like, okay, like here, and I stopped there and I let light, go through me and whatever. And then I'm like, oh yeah. And I get a message from spirit, give it to Mother Earth. So with my left hand, because the right is receiving, my
Yeah.
left hand, I just say, Mother Earth, please receive this. And then thank God it left me. But it was so funny because I was smoking weed at the time. And now I'm like, did I smoke too much weed? He's like, do you want more? And we're laughing. I'm like, ah. Like, anyway, so thank God I left it into the ground, and she received it. And then the next thing you know, as he's about to leave, I'm like, oh, that's it. Because his inner child finally spoke to me. He's like,
Yeah.
what? What, Corinne? What? I said, your inner child doesn't trust people. It doesn't trust me, and it doesn't trust anyone else. And I'm not offended. Like, it'd be silly if I got offended anyway. That'd be an ego.
Hmm.
How dare you not talk to me? Like, what?
Yeah.
You know? And I said, you don't trust people. And he's looking at me. And I'm like, and it's okay. And then things started to come. Then images started to come, and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I didn't want to take his money anyway. I don't know why, but that was like me not being able to receive at the time. And I, since then
Yeah.
worked on it. Like I can receive, financial things. But that's another thing the empaths do. They always want to help. And a lot
Hmm.
of them have to learn to feel worthy enough to receive. So thank
Yeah.
God I've overcome that to receive, because I just love giving.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's what happened that one New Year's Eve.
That's cool. Now,
Yeah.
the Reiki is part of the healing part. Now, do you still do your yoga? You're a certified yoga teacher.
So
Um,
it's interesting with Reiki. I've been told that I have my own energy signature healing frequency. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, no, no. I'm going to do Reiki, Reiki, Reiki. That's all I know is Reiki. They're like, no, you have your own style. Think about that person that brought Reiki onto Earth. You have your
mhm.
own. I'm like, what do you mean? Blah. I didn't believe in myself at the time. So I took my level Reiki 1 from a lady who had bad energy, and she deterred me from like continuing. I was like, oh, I don't trust her. She's in the dark. Why would I study this from her?
Mhm.
And she has no respect. And I'm like, what is going on? So I stopped it for years. And then when I found my teacher, Vivian Osal, wonderful lady, I did level Reiki 1 and 2 with her. I
Mhm.
loved it, and I would do Reiki, and it's amazing. Anybody can learn it.
Oh yeah.
And then I stopped it. You have it too?
Hmm. 1 and 2.
Isn't it amazing?
And animals.
Oh, I love
I do the
you.
Reiki for animals as well.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah. Because I used to do Reiki on my cats.
Mm.
Finnegan, especially, he liked it.
Oh my God.
Hmm. Yep. They're very receptive to Reiki.
So for those who
And
don't understand Reiki, how would you explain it to them?
Oh, it's the energy that you get. Like when you I can't rub my hands now because they're sweaty, but you rub your hands together and you bring your energy, and you're you're receiving through your head, and you're coming out, and it's just a clearing of energy, and where, like you say, and there's different chakras, different points, and you can get unblocked by it. My cousins, I've got two cousins who are Reiki masters. And she was, when my mom was in the hospital, she was sending healing energy long distance. And it's funny because I never used Reiki on mom. I never did it. I've only done it on myself. You've got to bring your energy, and you can clear it. And if you're having, like, what I say is like cobwebs in my head or something, you get rid of it. Just take it out, throw that energy away, give it away, put it into the earth or whatever, like you say, and you refresh yourself. I've always felt that, like the day that I was learning how to do the Reiki, I felt refreshed
Mm.
and clean. And I know that, like with Finnegan, he used to accept it and take it. And you could always tell that, it felt good for him. But I
And you
love
feel like
doing
he,
Reiki on animals.
mm.
He was definitely a receiver for it. He did like
Mm.
it. The other two here, no, not so much.
They're like, leave me alone, mom.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's interesting with cats, they actually guard your kingdom. They
Hmm.
protect you, especially when you're sleeping at night with
Hmm.
the dark spirits that could be looming and trying to get in. They protect you.
Hmm.
You know that,
Yep.
eh?
Oh yeah. I've actually had I see cat shadows.
Cool.
Finnegan.
Oh
And
my
possibly
God.
Buster and Muffy as well.
Do you
And
see it in
I
the peripheral
yeah,
vision?
the purple.
Cool.
Yeah. And I especially a few months ago I had them I could see the cat shadow running around, and it's funny because um Hawthorne, he's my black cat. He kept looking at different things, like he'd look up, and they're seeing something. And he kept looking up, and I kept asking him, like, who do you see? As if he's going to tell me. But I had a feeling it was probably Finnegan coming back.
That's amazing.
I remember with Buster and Muffy, when I was in Toronto, we had Buster and Muffy. And when Buster passed on, she would lay in my bed with me at night. And she was always laying up at the top on a pillow. She had her own pillow and her own blanket. And after Buster had passed, all of a sudden, like Muffy was in this deep sleep, and it was almost like somebody pounced on her. And she woke up in such a start, and she like freaked right out. And I started to laugh, and I said to Buster, I said, Buster, leave her alone. And then she went right back to sleep.
Oh my God, cool.
Yeah, yeah. But I can always feel like an animal on my bed, you know, doing the
Mm.
biscuit thing, or
Mm.
laying up against me. I can always feel that.
Oh my God, that's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah.
Hmm.
Have you thought about going deeper into your mediumship?
I haven't done anything about it, but I've
Yeah,
had that
because I
thought.
think you have those powers, and I think it's first, I think it's with animals,
Hmm.
especially
Yeah.
it just brings you so much joy and fulfillment to work with them and to help them. So there are a lot of people that can't afford medication and surgeries,
Hmm.
and they don't know what's wrong with their animals. And you can learn how to tap into their body, their energy field too,
Yeah.
see what ailments they have to save them on. Hey, don't do that allergy medication.
Hmm.
It's their liver, whatever it means. So there's
Yeah.
something called body talk. If you want
Yeah.
to look into that, I think it's so fascinating.
Well, it's
I
funny
want to look
because
into it too.
there was I did a segment over at a sanctuary. It's called Ralphie's Sanctuary, and it's this lady. She brings in animals who need a home.
Oh
That
my
are
God.
like, it was basically started for pigs, but they've got horses. They got two blind horses, or one blind horse, and the others. sort of blind. They've got two alpacas.
Oh,
And these animals have been abused and used, and
oh,
some have fallen off the trucks on the way to the. And the moment I walked in to the area where all the animals are, the one pig, Char Char. I've never been around a pig before. I'm a city girl. I don't. For me, pigs are behind a thing. I've never really touched a pig. And all of a sudden, this giant pig, Char Char, came over, laid down at my feet, and gave me his belly.
oh
And
my
you
God.
know, when an animal gives you his belly,
That's
you're
trust. That's love because
that's
they're opening their
yeah,
heart to you where you can
yeah,
easily, that's like, I fully surrender to your energy field. I trust
yeah,
you completely.
yeah.
Please give me belly rubs and love.
And I gave Char Char belly rubs. And from that moment on, Char Char followed me around all over the place.
Oh my
But
God.
these animals are so, like, she has such a big heart, and they're so beautiful that she's actually she they did a fundraiser. They had the gentleman who did he had Esther the Wonder Pig, and she passed over the rainbow,
Oh,
and he came to speak because what they were doing is they're raising money for a hospice for the animals.
that's amazing. Oh my God. That would be your, like, that would be heaven. Oh, you can do Reiki for them.
Yeah, yeah, mhm, I can. I never even thought of it until right now. I can offer my Reiki services for
How
them.
did you think of it?
Don't know, it just came.
It just came to me. It was in a different voice.
Yeah, I hear voices.
But I think because your heart is so huge, Miss Empath, that like, with all your skills and talents, God wants us to do what brings us joy. Anything that raises your vibration, let's do
Yeah,
it. And that's when you're in your fullest
yeah,
form. That's how we are raising the light on this planet with a lot of
mhm,
darkness that's here. And so we must do what brings us excitement.
mhm.
And I know how your face lights up when you're with animals.
I
And
love animals.
oh my God, they love you. Like, I used to work for a company called WIMS, Live Animal Educational, you know,
Mhm.
company or whatever it was called. And for 7 years, I would bring animals into schools and all these different things, fairs, libraries, I'd get
Oh,
presentations.
that's fabulous.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And I was going to take over the company, but the lady, I don't know, things, she wasn't being honest. Anyways, another story. That's her karma. My God, some people, no matter what you do for them, in the end, if they're poo-poo heads, they're poo-poo heads. So,
Exactly.
oh, it's so sad. Anyways, so, there was a pig that you got in the end called Penelope. I was so scared of her. She was not nice, especially if you went around her food. She would be like charging at you and like nip at your like shins. I'm like, oh my God. Like I was so afraid because I love animals. And I'm
Yeah,
always like, I could be very firm and be strong with my boundaries. And it's like, no, she didn't care. She's all muscle and fat. And I'm like, whoa, she wins. Like I'm gonna get out of her way. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Anyways, I tried to like learn her tricks and everything. It didn't work. She didn't go around with me. It would only be with, the owner of the company, which
yeah.
was fine, thank God. But I had to get over a lot of my fears when, I'd worked for that company from snakes to tarantulas.
Well, did you? I actually touched a tarantula, and because when I worked at a trailer park up here in Victoria Harbor, they bring in animals. They have this place where they come in and they bring in the snake and crocodile or alligator. I don't know which
Is
one
it
it
called
was.
Little Rays?
No, I can't remember what it was
Okay,
called
okay, it's
now.
okay. No problem.
But I have a picture of me holding the croc.
Awesome.
It's nice. I mean, it's not a handbag, but it was a beautiful time. I think I didn't have no fear. I mean, obviously because he had his
Amazing.
mouth taped too, but
Exactly.
it didn't
Exactly.
bother me. But the tarantula came out, and I have a fear of spiders. And my husband will attest to that because if I see a spider, it's gone. I'm sorry, but there's certain limits I have. But this little tarantula, they said if you put your finger up like this, it'll high five you. So he came around
Oh.
and he was high fiving everybody, this little tarantula. But I drew the line at the snake. I couldn't.
Yeah, Well, it was interesting with snakes because it's amazing. Fear is just in your mind, right? If you want to be
Hmm.
afraid, you will. If you want to get over it, you can.
Hmm.
And so when I was younger, I'd play with them, and we lived in a beautiful house, beautiful property, hundreds of acres, so pretty, very lucky in the forest. And I would collect garter snakes and play with them, and wow. And then I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I developed a fear, maybe because like my friends were like, "Ew, snakes," and then I don't know, maybe I was influenced, maybe "ew, snakes,"
Yeah,
and
that's
I don't
very
know. I got
possible.
a stupid fear out of nowhere. And then I work for this company, and I'm like, "Uh-oh, I'm not working with snakes or tarantulas." And she's like, "Well, okay, whenever you're ready one day." Because what happens is the client will request, whether it's
Hmm.
birthday parties or school program, where,
Hmm.
and they request 8 animals of their choice, and then we bring in 6, right? So then
Yeah.
if they wanted snakes or whatever, I'm like, they're not, and then I bring in the 6, that they chose. And so one day I was like, okay, I'm gonna get over my fear. So I touched it. Oh, nothing happened. Touched it longer till eventually I'm holding it fine
Yeah.
and putting it around my neck. And then the tarantula, I was like, okay, fine. And then somebody put on my hand. I'm like, oh, it's tickly. Okay.
Exactly. It tickles. It's you don't realize it that it does tickle. And I mean,
Yeah.
tarantulas, I don't know if they're venomous or whatever, but they're they're the only
All
spider I will take.
Yeah, all spiders have venom. It's a matter of which type of poison's in them and what happens.
Hmm.
So obviously the ones we would bring to schools and birthday parties won't kill children. It
Which
would
is
never
a
be a
good
good
thing.
day if that birthday boy died on his
Yeah,
day.
that would not be good.
Day of birth. It's never a fun party when. And obviously we never brought in any venomous snakes. It was just
Thanks.
the constrictors, right? The ones
Yeah.
that would squeeze
Yeah.
its prey until it can't
Yeah.
breathe and then they slowly, you know. But it was fascinating because I'd be around people who of course are afraid of snakes or spiders.
Hmm.
And when the snakes came around, that was like the biggest fear. It wasn't often I'd bring around the tarantula. But the snakes, yes,
Hmm.
definitely a party wow or a
Yeah.
library or,
Yeah.
a
They
school.
the snake is the one thing that everybody wants to see. I mean, I'm fascinated by snakes, but I just don't want to touch them. But I did touch the one at the park there.
That's
I
awesome.
made the effort. He suggests it. He says it's one way to get over your fears. Just
Yeah,
so I
100%.
touched it, and
That's
it didn't
amazing.
feel like what I thought it would. I thought it'd be slimy, but it wasn't.
No, yeah, they're dry and scaly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I would do. I would tell kids, first of all, I'd bring out the presentation. We had our own style. Every, independent contractor for that company had their own thing,
Hmm.
their own shtick, their own spiel, and mine was, hi kids, I'm Corinne. I'm from Waves Live Animal
Hmm.
Programming, and I want to know who here likes animals. Me, okay. And I'm like, well, there are rules. So do we touch them in there? And I let them fill in the blanks. They're like eyes,
Hmm.
no, because they won't be able to see. Do we touch them in their nose? No. Why? Because they won't be able to breathe.
Breathe.
Do we put our hands in their mouths? No, because they might.
Bite.
Yeah. And I'm like, if they have fur or scales, do we want to pet them in the direction of their hair growth or their scale growth, not the other
Hmm.
way around? And so they'd laugh, right? It was so cute. And so I teach them the rules and how to respect these animals. And I'm like, what about the animals in the wilds that might be scary, or maybe you're worried, or a skunk or a porcupine, like a skunk will spray you or a porcupine might shoot its quill at you. Do you think that they're mean? Do you think that they want to hurt you or spray you? And then they're like thinking, I'm like, no. I'm like, just like us, they just want to live. And so we have to make sure we have to protect them and coexist with them. So don't go too close to a skunk, even though they're so cute and cool looking, because it might spray you because it's scared. It doesn't know what you want to do with it. It just wants to get all the bugs and eat all the things. And what about the porcupine? It wants to do its thing. And what about a lion? Do you want to go close to a lion? No, I don't want to go close to a lion, even though I
Oh, it's
do.
such a cute little kitty.
Yeah. So I just taught them about respecting, but since then, I work with kids too.
Hmm.
I don't bring animals no longer in because I don't have that company and I don't have
Hmm.
Caramello and all that.
Hmm.
But I work with kids in the sense where, because my whole thing is I want to bring out the inner child, right?
Hmm.
And if like you don't feel safe to play, then we remove the blockages and then okay.
Yeah.
So with kids, I was a teacher at a private school, a school that's awake and not woke.
Yeah.
Those who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And so I was their inner child guide, and I would guide them intuitively on how to teach them. So we would always cover science topics and math and all this, and you name it.
Mhm.
But the rest was playtime, and it was amazing because I would, just say, okay, we've got construction paper, or we've got cardboard. Look, what are we gonna do with it? Let's make, robots, and then they do whatever they want. There's no
Yeah.
like this has to look like this, the teacher's end result. What is that? You're basically putting a child with the endless possibilities
Mhm.
of creation into a
Mhm.
box. I don't know about you, Lori. I do not want to be put in a box myself,
Oh gosh, no. I'm tired of being in the box.
right? So when I
Exactly.
work with kids, it's all about expanding their imagination. I worked in Greece, many moons ago, over 12 years ago, and I worked for this very wealthy family on their $10 million yacht for the summer.
Remember that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And for 3 months, I was with them, and I was their creative English play teacher. And then after the first week, I became the disciplinarian as well. They're like, okay. I'm like, okay. So, because they saw that I'm like, I don't care how much money you have, kids. We are
Mhm.
following rules and we're going to learn this and that. And they loved it. They needed that. Kids need discipline. They need
They do.
discipline.
They need boundaries as well.
You need
And
boundaries.
it is sad that there's so many that do not have that. And
Awful.
I mean, I grew up with boundaries and I grew up with discipline. If I didn't follow the rules, like, well,
I love that. I love that. No, because that's the creative, mischievous side of you of like, my life, my choice. I'm sorry, God gives us free will. It's my life,
Mhm.
my choice.
Yeah, my life, my choice, my mother's choice too.
Your mother just wanted to like run a tight ship,
Yeah.
and depending on her life too, right? We have to,
Hmm.
as we grow older, we learn, oh,
Yeah.
wait, what happened in her household that made
Hmm.
her so controlling or so
Hmm.
this or would be mean there or not
Hmm.
understanding here or not, much of an empath in that regard or whatever it may be or not as loving, as open-hearted. I remember
Hmm.
growing up being the, I don't like to call it black sheep, but the pink sheep in my family. I why can't I get a color? Why can't I get a color?
That's true. I don't mind
Right?
being the
So
black
pink sheep.
sheep. I don't mind. But hey, pink is
Yeah.
good.
Well, colors actually heal you. You know that?
Hmm. Yep,
So if
exactly.
you tend to wear a lot of black for whatever reason, even if you wear a color on your wrist, get some colors in your visual eyesight and
Hmm.
eat the colors of the rainbow, eat living foods
Oh,
with like energy.
yeah. You would not believe the food rainbow that I eat now
Awesome.
because I've gone plant-based.
Wow.
So yeah, no longer eating meat, no
Oh my
longer
God.
dairy. Yeah, totally whole plant, whole plant-based.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We have to talk because I might be getting involved with this company that has the most amazing dehydrated living superfoods like powders and drinks and shakes.
Hmm.
Yeah, if I end up working with them, we will talk because it's just potent stuff. It's powerful stuff. It's amazing tasting as well. And we got to make sure you're getting all the proper nutrients with this.
Oh, trust me, I am getting lots of nutrient. The doctor I see, he gets a list of everything that I take and he goes through everything. As a matter of fact, my medication for my high blood pressure is he cut it in half and he said, okay, well, if it keeps going like this number, um, then you just stop it altogether. But I'm hesitant about stopping it altogether without his okay. So I'll wait till my next appointment to see him
Okay,
and
yeah, because these white
um,
pills are very scary. You got to be careful, okay?
mm,
We don't, I don't trust them. Like I think sometimes they're good for a temporary fix, but
yeah,
in terms of being on it, it always affects another organ. It's the
yeah,
dark pharmaceutical industry that we got to be careful
yeah.
of and
Oh,
go more
definitely.
towards naturopaths whenever
Oh, yeah,
possible.
yeah, yeah. That I mean, like I take my vitamins, and for my arthritis, I'm now taking because I've hit 65. I'm now taking collagen and turmeric for my
Good,
arthritis. Oh yeah, yeah.
good.
I actually I've used more spices and cooked so many different ways and different things. As a matter of fact, this morning before um, we had this meeting, I was cooking jackfruit boiling it.
Oh, I love jackfruit. The
I'm
like
going
the
to be
pulled
putting it,
chicken type of style.
yep, yep. I'm going to be putting that in my potato salad tonight for dinner. And I'll have that and it'll be like a chicken potato salad for me.
You're the best. Yeah, I
It's
tried
so
that one
it's so
time.
different. It's just I've tried things that I've never would have tried before in my life.
You're amazing.
Yeah, just trying to get healthy.
And is it because why did you cut out animals? What's the reason?
Well, actually, it was my surgeon because I have to get a knee replaced, and he suggested. He says, "Okay, I want you to drop 30 pounds." Now, I had already dropped 150 pounds at that point,
Oof.
and I he wanted me to drop 30 more, and he suggested going whole plant based. So he said he sends a lot of people to this doctor, Dr. Shane Williams, and is he knows the Esselstons and the Caldwells, and he got me hooked onto this. And it's like, I can't go back to eating meat. Now, like my husband's a meat eater, and when he's cooking his pork or his beef, and I'm looking at it, and the first longest time it was like, oh, I miss it, and I really want, and I'd go to steal a piece, but I couldn't do it. I just couldn't bring it. And of course, now I'm at char. I mean, I can't go back to eating now.
That's
So
so cool. And do you ever have cravings for meat?
I did for the longest time. Now I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. The cravings actually, I've been on it for a full year now. And it was, I'd say, for the good 8 months, I was just craving. Now it makes me nauseous to look at it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I drink like, instead of moo juice, I drink, nut squeezings, as my husband would say,
That's hilarious. That's
cashew
adorable.
or oat or almond milk.
And do
And I
you
don't drink it often.
okay, good, because I don't know if you're aware that they put a lot of fillers unless it's pure.
Hmm.
So if you have
Yeah.
the time, make your own, make your own,
I
make your
was going
own.
to,
It's
and
very
I
easy.
just I haven't really ventured into that yet. But
Okay, cool.
I've been venturing into other things. So I'm going to be venturing into that as well. So,
And what I learned the other day with almonds, the almond skins, we're supposed to be soaking it overnight and taking the skins off because the skin is its protection in the wild so that
mhm,
other insects don't eat it. And that
yeah,
is actually a reaction in our tummy. I'm like, huh? What? I
yeah.
don't know. So that's interesting to know.
Hmm.
And so,
It's
yeah,
amazing, what you really find out and you learn with this kind of a diet.
because everything wants to survive. It's going to do whatever it
Hmm.
can with its armor. So what does an almond do? It can't fight things off,
Well, exactly.
right?
So,
So it shows its own protection mechanism in its own way.
it's like an
And we don't
armadillo with
realize.
that shell. To
Yeah.
protect
Oh my
themselves,
God,
he rolls
100%.
up in that ball.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Wow, well, good for you. You look incredible. You look incredible,
Thank
like
you. I
huge
feel incredible.
transformations.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because the last time you would have seen me, I was quite big.
Yeah, it's just amazing because like it was your goal. I remember
Hmm.
for the longest time you're like, I'm determined, I'm determined.
Hmm.
And oh my God, you can write a book in that in itself for that one,
I
right?
have
Just
been. I've been reading
yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's amazing
Yeah.
because a lot of people can relate to that. I have
Yeah.
a best friend who, she always wants to find any way to lose weight, and it's just not fair because once we've packed on more weight, it's very difficult to lose it,
To
and it's
lose
not
it. Yeah.
fair. She's like, I try so hard, and she's like, these
Yeah.
people judge me for having a donut in a moment, and yet,
Hmm.
she's like, you can have like 5 donuts, which I don't and because that's just like gonna hurt my tummy, and I don't have
Exactly.
that craving where I'll have like five. But anyways, the point is, it isn't fair, and
Yeah.
then people will judge and be like, oh, and it's just mean what society has come to. And back in the day when we were bigger, it was considered amazing because we were wealthy
Hmm.
and well fed, and
Yeah.
now it's like because of the media. Oh, this is
Hmm.
what the ideal woman like or man looks like.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Let's all be healthy. Let's come back to
Hmm.
healthy, but let's love ourselves along the way
Hmm.
because we're just doing the best we can to cope in this very cruel world. There are a
It's
lot
true.
of
And
hurt people.
a lot of the young ladies, because I worked at a magazine place. Actually, that's where um, we met each other. Um, I found out that they do airbrush the models on the covers. And a lot of the other magazines, like they've also said that they airbrush them. So what you're seeing isn't what is reality of that person. And it's so sad because the girls see that and that's what they strive to be.
Oh, it's awful.
And it's so sad because you can't do that. You can't live for somebody that is unrealistically been altered because even they don't look like that. I mean, they're
100%.
airbrushed with, no pimples, or
No
no
wrinkles,
moles. Exactly, no wrinkles. I mean,
no
like who
bags.
has the perfect skin? Nobody. We all
I
have.
do. Just joking. No, I know. You're right. Yeah, totally. But like people can be so mean to themselves and they
Hmm.
look in the mirror later, they're like, oh no, I have the. It's like, do you realize how lucky you are to be human? Do you realize that like
Hmm.
your soul chose to incarnate here in this lifetime to make this world
Hmm.
better? And, there are people who have passed on and they come and they visit their loved ones
Hmm.
and but that's not their life anymore. That's not their path anymore. They have something
Hmm.
else, another mission to complete.
Hmm.
And so here we are and like making ourselves even like, worse off. And then rather than focusing on what can we do and how can we like, feel good and do good deeds and make this
Hmm.
world, more functioning so that we're all flowing in happy harmony,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah. It's amazing that, like they don't see that. That's the problem. I know if I have a friend who, gets down on herself because she's not perfect. And
Oh,
she's perfect. She's perfect in her way. It's like you're perfect in your way and I'm perfect in my way. I mean, I've accepted, the that I'm not going to have taunt skin like, the younger girls. I'm 65. I don't care anymore. Just let me get to where I need to be, wrinkles and all, and I don't care. I'm
awesome.
happy.
Awesome.
And that's, in the whole nutshell, that's what everybody's got to be. I mean, they got to be. I'm so tired of people being so unhappy and miserable.
I know.
Like
And that's why we're
it
here is to
just,
help them, right? To
hmm
help them,
yeah,
to help them.
it's a sad situation in the world. But at the same time, I mean, like there's people like you who are out there making it beautiful again because you've got such a giving heart. And like you've stated, you rather give than receive. And I know you receive so much in return for
Oh yeah, I
anybody who
love.
comes into you. I mean, like,
No, no, I love giving and receiving. I love them both.
and it just, your heart is so pure. And,
Takes
like
one to know one.
the moment that we met that day when you came into the office, you've never changed. You
Well,
literally
I'm
have
hoping I'm
never
always changing
changed.
and
Well,
growing.
you're
Yeah, change.
changing, but
Yeah,
you're changing, you're growing, let's put it that way.
yeah.
But technically
You
you're
mean my
still
heart?
that your heart. It's still the same. Still that same Corinne that I knew back then. And you're just so bubbly. If
Yeah.
we could just bottle you, that would be amazing. We'd clean the market up.
Bottle that essence. Yeah, well, it's interesting
Exactly.
because we all have our own frequency. That's why, my nickname is Sunshine. When I was
Hmm.
living in Greece, I'd go to, this cafe one time and I'm ordering a cappuccino and a croissant. And when you have that knowing, the
Yeah.
clairvoyance, the clairaudience, right? And so the knowing. And all of a sudden, this guy says, thank you, sunshine. I'm like, but the way he said it, Lori, I was like, why'd you call me sunshine? And he like I was, compelled to ask him. He's like, because you just emanate sunshine, your
You
aura.
do.
But what was interesting is that 2 days or 3 days later, someone else somewhere else called me sunshine. And then I come back to Canada because my mom, she had something, surgery, whatever, and everything was fine. But I come back to Canada and I'm now living in Canada. I'm no longer living in Greece. And I'm working at this place. And two people in the office are calling me sunshine. I'm like, Okay, God, creator, universe, I'm listening. All right. So I put that as like my social media nickname thingy. But what's interesting is that regarding frequencies and essences is that no two are alike.
No.
God knows exactly what God is doing. No one is like you in this world, Lori. No one is like me in this world.
Mm-hmm.
My frequency, my energy field is different than yours.
Mm-hmm.
You have a very calming presence, and that's why the that pig ran up to you and lay down. It's like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
ready. I'm ready to be healed. Here we go. Like, are we healing me now? Yeah. Oh, soothing. You have this very calming, comfortable, cozy energy field, and people feel safe in your presence.
Mm-hmm.
And no two, just like no two fingerprints and hair,
Mm-hmm.
and the sound of your voice is
Mm-hmm.
unique. No one has that. No one else's has your voice but
No.
you. So we all have this uniqueness about us and this energy field about us. And so that's why I call everybody like the rays of sunshine, because everybody has their own unique ray. And what I appreciate about you when I met you as well, when we like clicked right away, is because our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
It's the bottom line at the end of the day. Can I feel safe in your presence? Can I call you another Care Bear friend or not? And when you felt safe in mine, you're like, oh yeah, this girl's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep her in, my close field as well. And
Yeah.
we had that throughout. Oh my God, how many years have we been friends with now?
Oh God. I've been trying to figure that out. And for the
Right? I
life
don't
of
know.
me, I can't think.
I'm bad with like dates and time, so I'm just like
Oh,
it
I
happened.
am too. I'd have to look at my resume to see what year I was there.
It's over 15 years for sure.
I think it's closer to 20, maybe
Yeah, 20. Okay.
20
Something like that.
plus.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
what has been consistent with both of us are our big hearts, our
Mm-hmm.
sensitivities, us going through the ups and downs and the phoenix rising above the ashes every time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you said to me, you were meaning the compliment, you've never changed, what you meant was because we're always changing and growing and
Mm-hmm. Oh
evolving,
yeah, definitely. Because even I've done the same.
Yeah. And what you
I've
meant
grown.
was like my heart has
Your heart. It
remained
is
pure.
definitely your
Yeah.
heart. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, when you say when you're the sunshine, you do emanate sunshine. Like you can almost see this little white beam around you.
Can you see
And
that? Can you see
yes,
colors?
yes,
Not
I
everybody
do. I
can.
see color. I can. I know. I've been told that. The very first time I had Reiki done on me I was a stage manager for a theater production. I was volunteering, and the other stage manager, it was just the two of us left at night to clean up. So she says, sit down. She goes, I'm going to do something to you. And I had no idea what she was going to do. And all of a sudden, she says, just close your eyes. And all these colors were just shooting all over the place. And she said to me, she goes, what are you seeing? I said, I see all these little dots of color. I said, it's like just a big burst of it all. And she goes, seriously? I thought I did something wrong. She goes, not everybody sees that. And I says,
Cool.
oh, sees what? And then she explained. And then that's how actually she introduced me to the
That's
Reiki and that.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So when I put people under, when we work together, put people under, that sounds so funny. When they go into like a meditation and like a
Mm-hmm.
hypnotic state, and I bring them to their inner child, sometimes they see colors and swirls.
Yeah.
That's so cool because not everybody
Yeah.
does. And when the first time they
No.
said they saw colors, I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm writing everything down, right? Because I want them
Yeah.
to see what, and they're talking out loud and I'm writing it down. I want them to see what they've experienced. But that's so cool. That is so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. They told me that I see a lot of I will always see color. I mean, even when I sleep, I have these color things shooting all over the place and I
Oh
dream
my
in
God.
color.
Oh my God. Ah, that could be the title of your book.
What?
I dream in color.
Ooh, could
If
be.
it resonates, it's just pretty.
It does,
But
yeah.
yeah, or a chapter, like one of the things, but and
Actually,
talk
I
about
will
your
do a
dream.
chapter on that.
Yeah, chapter.
It's good.
Yeah, the dream state.
Yeah.
So, for me, working with my clients, I find it so rewarding and amazing. Like this one lady, she's 21 years old. She is in the mental health, failing mental health system of Canada, where the nurses talk and laugh behind her back, Lori.
Mm.
And so she is schizophrenic. And I said, you're not. I said, these are spirits that are in you. And it started when she did a heavy dose of mushrooms. Now, what
Oh.
people don't understand, they think it's all fun and games, but it's powerful medicine. If you're
Hmm.
going to do shrooms, first of all, know your source
Hmm.
because everything is energy, everything's alive, and you're going to put
Hmm.
something living, a soul, into your body. You're now not protected. And if you have a hole in your aura and your energetic field because of lower vibrational stuff and traumas that have happened to you in this lifetime,
Hmm.
then you're giving full range for like these things to take over.
Oh
So what
yeah.
happened to her, and she's lesbian, and what happened to her that night when she did a huge dose, she's like, Corinne, I knew it wasn't me. Something was speaking to me, and it told me to wake up my girlfriend and slap her. She's like, I didn't do it because I didn't know what I was going to do, so I didn't do it. She's like, the next day I woke up and I didn't recognize myself in the mirror, nor did I recognize the city around me, and I couldn't stop crying. And then I heard voices, then, and then my parents threw me in the sane asylum and all this, and the nurses would laugh behind my back, and then you'd have these cold people with clipboards and I'm like, oh my God, I am so sorry for how we've failed you, how the system has failed you. And so, anyways, fast forward, and this is just a few weeks ago. Fast forward, just only 3 sessions later with her, and she can't afford much. She's on, disability, so
Hmm.
she's paying whatever she can, and whatever she can, I'm grateful, and she's grateful. She's like, you know what? I'm good right now. I don't need to have any more sessions. She's like, I went on a date with a guy, and that was amazing, and we had such a good time. And she's like, Corinne, thank you for allowing me to use my voice and knowing that I'm not crazy, I'm not insane. And so what happened was when I met with her physically for the first time, because we were doing it over Google Meets, I didn't protect my energy field.
Bad,
I
bad,
know,
bad.
very bad, because I had to learn my lesson the hard way, and as we do in this lifetime. And when she left, the same thing happened to me that happened a couple of weeks before when I went to this festival. I cleared the demon that was in her. And how did I do that? I didn't feel different. But that night, because maybe I was more edgy, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't reflect on that. But that night, I was on the toilet, releasing from the bottom, because we're purging, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest burps, and the worst stomach pains ever. The same thing happened at that festival when I went, and this lady who had huge trauma, and she looked me in the eye. I think it was when I looked them in the eye, Lori, that they go into me.
Yeah.
Because as Shakespeare says, the eyes are the windows of the soul, right? So if they're
Hmm.
haunted and tormented by these things. Anyways, to this day, she's like, Corinne, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, that's my fault. That's me to learn as a healer. Like, I need to learn to protect myself, to clear, to give it to
Hmm.
Mother Earth, all this stuff, to put a protection energy around me before you come into my sacred home, and then to release what I just experienced after. It's all good. It's all learning. God is
Hmm.
protecting us. We're divinely guided. Nothing, no harm done. Yeah, it sucked for my body. I had to go through that, but it's a hard lesson we have to learn. And that's what life's
Yeah.
about, is just learning lessons.
Yeah.
But to this day, she is like no longer hearing voices,
Oh, fantastic.
and she is feeling incredible, and she's happier.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And so
And
a lot of the times schizophrenia, and it was one of these powerful energy healers. And anybody who's had a concussion, please go to this guy. He does energy healing, and he helps with the heart. And I guess I can say I do that too, but I don't know. I want to go through more people before I say that, certainly. But he says, Corinne, I figured out how to heal schizophrenia. I'm like, what are you talking about? This was years ago. He's like, it's energy work to the heart. He's like, they've been so traumatized to their heart that all of a sudden they're like with not in themselves, and these things are taking over, because if they're not the pilot, who is, right? Who's steering ship?
hmm. Yeah.
And he's like, you just clear the heart, and then I have to help them set boundaries, and that's it. I'm like, what? I'm like, I want to interview these people, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, yeah, Orion Mott, OrionMott. He is phenomenal, especially with brain injury. And his mom and his mom's friends, they do clearing and tune-ups for like dementia and Alzheimer preventative stuff. Unbelievable when I had a concussion, what he did for me. Night and day difference.
Oh,
Night and
wow.
day difference. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because there's only so much that your brain can do on its own when it's trying to, like, how do you tell the brain to heal itself when the brain is a computer? It's like the brain can tell like this part. Okay, but the
Hmm.
brain, oh man, and that's another story of what I experienced. But anyways, we don't have all day.
You say you're such a bundle of energy. You really are.
And this is me tired. Like I'm tired today. This is me tired.
See, now can you imagine what she's like when she's not tired?
Oh my God, I'm such a hyper being. I'm so hyper. I can be like 3 years old with a little kid and play and like, let's go, let's run, let's jump up and down and go down the slides and climb, and then I can have like a deep conversation with someone and hold space for someone for what they've experienced in awful, awful traumatic
Hmm.
moments.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you do, and that's one of the other things that is very vital if you're going into any kind of energy healing. In that you've got to ground yourself before you start on somebody else. And
Yeah.
like you said, you learn, you
Yeah.
learn the
Because
hard way.
I didn't like, it's like, I don't know. It's like I forgot that day. I was just so excited for her to come over and she's a sweet girl and beautiful heart. And then, yeah, I just totally forgot. And then I didn't clear the energy field afterwards. And this thing was in me. And you
All it
know
takes
what?
is one time.
Yeah, to learn. And it was funny because like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, I don't know now, when I went to that event and then that lady, I cleared the stuff for her. She's like, I feel great the next day. And I was like, oh my God, I was purging that night at the festival. I'm like on the toilet. I'm like, she feels great because I just like did her homework for her, you know what I mean? But anyways, that's my job on earth, fine. But and I'm grateful. I love helping. But my friend was the one who told me when I saw him like a few days later. He's like, Corinne, how are you? He's like, how are you, sunshine? I'm like, I'm okay, I'm okay. And then I woke up with my foot killing, like underneath the ball of my foot hurting.
Yeah.
I'm massaging it, that morning and everything. So I see him later on in the afternoon. He's like, how's your foot? I'm like, it hurts. He's like, sunshine, something's in you. I'm like, what? He's like, you have a bad spirit that's in you. And it came to you he's a very powerful psychic. It came to you at that festival. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my God, it makes sense now. I was purging that night. So it's interesting how you always go through life and you connect the dots. I'm like, how do I
Hmm.
get rid of it? How do I get rid of it? What do I do? Because he's a powerful healer. He's like, you know what to do. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know what to do. So that night, or that day, it was still sun. I went into bed. I used sage or Palo Santo
Hmm.
first. I said a prayer. I invite in the spirit of that. I call in white light and I say, I release all that's no longer serving me. See how I twitched?
Hmm.
It just something was in me just now. I release all that's no longer serving me. I call back all parts that are mine. Um, I invite white light into my field. Well, that's what I say first. I invite white light
Hmm.
into my fields. Um, and I release lower vibrations from my field, lower energies, lower any entities, anything that is not mine, release, let it
Hmm.
go immediately. And I would twitch and turn and blah, blah, blah. And it's a quick twitch. It's like all of a sudden it just happens. And then my mind's like, wait, is that the placebo effect? Did I do that? I'm like, no, like I wasn't thinking, let me twitch now. Like it just, because the scientific brain wants to know why, but
Yeah.
sometimes you don't need to know why. You just accept,
Just accept. Exactly.
just accept. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now what are you doing for your life?
So I am putting together this treasure hunt instead of a scavenger hunt, a treasure hunt.
Hmm.
And I want people to play in the forest. And so I'm invited to this festival. It's called the Coming Home Festival. And I'm going to be putting together a play shop for them. And it's the play formula on how to play.
Oh,
And
cool.
during this time, they're going to be experiencing fun different ways on how to integrate that, how to understand how to play more in life, why
Hmm.
we should play more, how to play, what is play. And it's not going to be about healing
Hmm.
because like I want them to have fun and be in the light. It's a
Yeah.
festival, but it is definitely going to be about how to play more. And the other side to it, sure, like the idea of like, hey, if you can't, this is why, look into that, all that stuff.
Yeah.
go to all these different people. If I resonate with you, you can work with me. But remember,
Hmm.
everything is energy and frequency. And if you don't resonate with someone, trust that.
Hmm.
If someone is, and then also don't put someone on this pedestal like they're above you and they know everything. Nobody knows everything. And if they
Oh
say they
gosh, no,
do,
we're always
run.
learning. We're always
Always,
learning.
always. So I'm doing that. I'm also working one-on-one with clients.
Hmm.
I do a lot of, free stuff as well if anybody needs to, look into that. Um, but I also believe in receiving. So it's not just taking in life. I believe give
Hmm.
and take. That's what God wants. That's what nature
Hmm.
does. And that's the formula of life too. So even though I'm going to offer something without, let's say, monetary
Monetary.
value, yeah, monetary value, then what is that you can do? Is it paying forward? Is there something that I can use? You can help me with, such as my website.
Yeah. Hint,
I'm
hint, hint.
also, right? I'm also putting together, I put together for kids, character development on what does it mean to be a friend and how to trust and how to play. And that was so much fun. And I'm looking into putting a course together on that. So if anybody out there wants to do an energy exchange, I would love to get that up and running online. And what else am I involved in? Yeah, I just always want to help. Like I'm getting involved in this charity, because I'm born Jewish. So
Hmm.
I don't know if you've heard that, it's very popular again to hate the Jews and it's
Apparently so.
terrible. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's sad how easily brainwashed some humans are
Hmm.
and how so many of us aren't critically thinking. I saw that when the rollout of the vaccines came out. I was like, oh my God, people are doing it just because they're saying do it when they're like listening in their heart and their minds, like doesn't feel right. And now the stats are coming out that it was the wrong choice and that they lied and that it doesn't actually, it's not an actual vaccine. It didn't actually stop. Like it's crazy what's coming out.
I have to
And
admit,
how
I did get the vaccines, but because I was also working at or volunteering at a senior's home, it was required.
I know it's
And then
crazy.
I
People,
got shut out.
what do you mean you got shut out?
They got locked down. Couldn't
Oh,
volunteer. Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah, this stuff is, and there's ways to clean it from the body because it really is bad stuff
Hmm.
what has been put into our, that they patent it and the devil's numbers there, the 666 is on the
Hmm.
patent of these. It's crazy. There is
Hmm.
there is a war on our consciousness, on our spirit, on spirituality, and they're trying to deter the younger generation against God.
Hmm.
The devil
Oh
has a
yeah.
tight grip on this in this 3D plane, and that's why
Hmm.
a lot of different beings from different planets are coming in to help us because they want to save Earth. If they can't save Earth, it affects.
Hmm.
It's like a trickle. Like everything is
Hmm.
one, right? So
Hmm.
they're here to help us. The Palladians, if you've heard about the Palladians, look into
No.
them. Oh yeah, they're so cool. Look
Hmm.
into them if that interests you, if it resonates. But regarding what resonates and always trust that. Even if you're like, oh, I really wanted to work with him and finally I'm working with him or her, and then they say something that's off, trust that.
Trust that. Yeah.
We're not stupid. Trust that.
Yeah. I always go by my instincts, and um, I've learned the hard way
Yeah,
um, to do
as we
that.
do.
And um, I had a really bad experience working with a company. And it literally, I mean, like I would go to bed crying at night. Like literally, it
Mm,
was like going into work was pure hell. And
toxic.
it was like all one night I just snapped and I thought, I'm gonna fight back. So while she was pushing at me, I pushed right back. And I stood up for other people there as well.
Good.
And um, she just had it in for me from day one, apparently. And I thought, no, I'm going to start standing up and speaking out.
Good for
And I
you.
did. Yep. I had to. It was for my own health as well as the other girl's
100%.
health. You know,
100%.
you can't keep everything inside. It'll explode.
Well, I don't know if anybody's ever told this, but you're very, very powerful being. You're very powerful.
I have been told a
And
lot of things, but not that.
well, you're very powerful. Like I see these like psychic abilities within you. It's just when you're ready, you're gonna dive into that because
I
you're
yeah,
Aquarius, right? You're
Yeah.
Aquarius?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Aquarians have a thirst, a quest for knowledge. So when you're ready, you're gonna dive into that.
Oh
If it
yeah.
resonates in your heart,
Oh,
it's all
it
timing.
has. It was actually somebody told me that I went to a psychic years ago. Never go on Halloween though. It just like totally freaks you out. And I think it was the first time, the very first time I saw him, he was babysitting a dog, and the dog sat with his head on my lap, and I just kept stroking it. And he didn't tell me anything about the dog, and I just thought it was his dog. And he said to me, "You saw what you saw, and you will see always that you what you see." And I sat there and I tried to figure out what it was that he was trying to say, but I it clicked in as to what he was going to say, like he was meaning. And then he continued, and I didn't say a thing, I just sat there rocking in the seat because he was getting so accurate and patting the dog. And he's told me, he told me that, he says, one, you'll have a book. Two, you have the ability, use it, hone it, work it. And then he told me what that little statement was all about. You will continue to see them, and it is ghosts.
That's incredible. Yeah, you're a
And
medium. You are a
I
medium.
I have seen ghosts since I've been 5 years old.
As long as you protect yourself. And I like that you
Oh yeah,
studied
I
and you
do.
went,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what's good. You
yeah,
studied, you went deep into religion and then you jumped out of that. It's all about spirituality. We're all one.
yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
we're all one. There should be no shame and guilt down anybody's shoved down anybody's throat in any religion. It's like God is pure love. There's no guilt and shame and you were wrong and you have sinned because of X, Y, and Z reasons. Oh my God. Just be a good
Yeah.
person.
And that's what it boils down to. That's just what it boils down to. If we're all good, we've
Then
done
everybody's
it.
happy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we'll all be called sunshine.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like that's what the formula is. It's all about just tapping into that
Hmm.
huge ball of light within you.
Hmm.
And so, you said I have this big bright light. You have to understand something as well. With that big bright light comes the
Responsibility.
darkness. That
Hmm.
yes, yes.
Well, like you've always said, we've both got light and dark in us, and you have to. It's like yin and yang.
Oh yeah, we live in a dualistic world, absolutely.
Hmm.
But I'm saying is with the darkness, I saw it at the Italian street festival just the other day. They're drawn to me like a moth to a flame in the sense where they want to disrupt, they want to rattle the darkness that's in me. They want to piss me off. They want to they want to dim my light. And so they test me. Everything's a test. At every moment, everything's a test. Do the
Oh
right thing or
yeah.
the wrong thing. And so here I saw this man literally with like his face painted black and he had a skull on his head. Okay. Talk about
Hmm.
darkness. And he's
Hmm.
wearing this thing and a staff with this thing and a feather. I'm like, what? Everyone's like, oh, but are you all asleep? Are you all like ridiculous, like human beings around me? Like, who am I surrounding my what's happened to society? Oh my God, I need to share this on my social media. Are you kidding me right now? I'm now standing my power and I'm like looking in with my like get the beep away from me because I'm now dancing with a kid. I asked this like beautiful Indian lady, can I dance with her 6-year-old? Like, yeah, she like basically allows me to like to take her child. She doesn't even know me to the crowd. We're at the front, we're dancing, and it's so much fun. And I'm like, thank you so much. I'm dancing. Then I see this man come around and come closer, putting my arm around her. I'm giving him my stance of like, don't you, F with
Yeah.
us. And he's coming, trying to go closer to me. And he's looking at me. And I'm like, don't you dare. And I put on a bright light. I call in Archangel Michael, bring in, blue light, protect us.
Hmm.
It's written in the Torah and the Bible, ask and you shall receive.
Hmm.
Our angels always want to help us. We just have to ask.
Hmm. And it's funny because I always say my about my angel, and I've had my angel protect me quite a bit. One time when my brakes went on my car, I was
Oof,
speeding towards a whole bunch of cars, and I saw this white thing fly by me, and I just swerved into the next lane and came to a rolling stop.
that's so cool.
Yeah. And I just sat there shaking, but I knew it was my angel. I mean,
And
one,
I'm glad that you were
it had
shaking. You were
wings.
releasing.
Yeah.
That's
And I mean,
incredible.
it had wings and it had a white outfit on. So definitely was an angel. But
That's amazing.
I
I have to
totally
do it.
believe in angels. And I
Oh
always
yeah.
say about my angels, my poor angel is like probably at the bar hungover saying, oh my God, there she goes again. What the heck is she doing?
There she goes with what?
What is she doing again? Like, what
With
the heck is
what?
she doing? Oh, just about anything. It's a little joke that I do that my poor
Okay,
angel,
yeah.
following my life, he's, or she,
And remember,
stuck
the
at the
angels
bar,
don't
stuck at the
drink.
bar. No, but they
That's
can have that milk.
oh, they definitely don't drink. And remember also, like think about the tree and the fruit. When it's at its ripest, we eat it. So when it starts to fall, it's decaying and then it turns into alcohol. We're supposed to drink death.
Mm,
Alcohol is so bad. People have to start to wake up to it. And a lot of people are. I'm like, wow, at
hmm.
that Italian festival, the Taste of Italy, um, I met this lady. She's so amazing. We're gonna hang out, instant friends like you and I. And we were dancing and everything, and all of a sudden we speak to these girls who are younger. They're in their mid-20s. And this one girl's like, "Oh my God, don't you have witchy vibes?" She's like, "You're a witch, aren't you? And you have energy. Your aura is amazing. It's so bright. It's so light." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, like it's good you recognize and and all that stuff." And then I'm like, "Tell me something. How's your generation doing? You guys grew up with this tablet in your hand, and are you connected to your hearts?" They're like, "Corinne, it's so bad." They're like, "We are all ranked, and if you don't have 900 likes, unless you're
Yeah,
matching with another guy with 900 likes, you're not even considered someone." I'm like, "Oh my God." But
that's true.
regarding alcohol, it's so sad. It's awful. Regarding alcohol, the lady beside me, my new friend, she was telling the girls too, because they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go and get drunk." And they were already slurring the words. I'm like, "Guys, no, like, but anyways, what are you gonna do, right? You can lead a horse to the water." But the lady beside me knew about. She's like, "Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad spirits." I'm like, "You know what to do?" It was so cool.
See, people are drawn to you
Oh yeah.
for a reason. There's always a
Oh yeah.
reason.
Oh,
But
everything's energy. Everything's frequency.
I do agree with the alcohol thing. And I mean, I can testify that I used to drink and I used to drink every weekend or pretty much every weekend. And I would go home hungover and the feeling was just horrible. It was like, what am I doing? Like, seriously. And there was just like, again, it was like a light bulb going on. Next moment, boom, didn't take another drop.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And
And
that's
that's
been
how
over
powerful you
20.
are. Do you see
Yeah.
how powerful you are?
That's like over 20 some odd years too.
But you see how powerful you are? Like you just take an idea and you're like, boom, that is the
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah. And it just, I wish a lot of people would do that. And I mean,
Me too.
like, communion wine, you take a little sippy poo, but that I don't classify that as anything. And for me, I just use the grape juice anyway. So,
The only time I drink is when I'm using tinctures. Because
mhm,
think about it, it is extracting your soul's essence.
yeah.
It is extracting the essence of the oregano plant. So now I'm going to use
Hmm.
oregano, and that's the most powerful antibiotic, oregano. If
Hmm.
anybody ever has
Yeah.
a cold coming on, you got to listen to your body and tune in. If you have a tickle in your throat or you're starting to feel run down or, runny nose, you take that oil of oregano and you swish in your mouth, and it is spicy,
Hmm.
but that's medicine and
I've
it will
heard
burn
that.
and it is fine. Or you can take the pills, oil of oregano pills, no problem if you don't want it. But if you have a tickle in your throat, it'd be good to gargle it and it taps
Hmm.
it. But, anyways, it's extracting the essence of the plant. What do you think it's doing to you if you're just going to pour directly into your vessel? So, even if you take a little bit of poison, it's still poison.
Hmm.
But we'll be fine. Our bodies are strong and we have angels protecting us and all that and us to be in the light and no problem. It's not like, oh my God, oh, something's gonna happen to me and a spirit's gonna come in right away. No, everything is vibration. So the reason why that girl who I just worked with, who I cleared that stuff from,
Hmm.
is no longer hearing the voices because she's in a higher vibration. It left.
Yeah.
And why did it go in that time with mushrooms? Because she was in a lower depressed state. Oh, perfect energy. Yeah, let's hang out here. It's
Yeah.
cozy. Yeah. Because it is a privilege to be human. So it wants to use your body and taste and have sex and feel.
Hmm.
And God wants us to enjoy. So let's enjoy. Let's eat the most delicious foods. Let's listen to the most beautiful music. Let's dance and move our body. Let's release stuff that's gunky and get higher and higher and higher to God.
Hmm. High vibration is the best. And like, I know so many people who are like, they're down, and you can only try to lift a person up so long, but they've got to be able to do it themselves.
Oh yeah,
They have to dig inside and start to heal themselves. It's
100%.
easy enough for us to help them, but they have to be able to want to do it.
You can lead a horse to
And
the water.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You can try it, but until they're ready to move on, you know,
Yeah. And regarding
that's
the bright light as well, you have to understand that like it hasn't been easy for me in this huge light because I shine light without even knowing. My
hmm
energy field makes people who are in the dark, who are avoiding their shadows, so
hmm
uncomfortable, cringing in front of me because it's all within 6 feet. My
hmm
glowing field. So if I'm in front of you, I'm healing you, Lori. That is my
hmm
power. And you too, when you're in front of that animal, you're healing. When you're in front of that human, you're healing, right? You're
hmm
calming soon. They're like, they can be like, "Nom, nom, nom, nom," go to sleep, right? Right? So that's what
Exactly.
you're doing. And so my bright light is really shining it in their darkest that they're trying to avoid with alcohol, with too much sex, with too much work, with too much sleep, with too much food, with too much Netflix, whatever they're doing to avoid their shadows
hmm
themselves. They don't want to be in front of me. And so they will get triggered as anything. And that confused me growing up because I was like, I don't understand. I'd be a good friend. Why don't they like me? They don't even know me. And that was when
hmm
I was insecure and I didn't know about all this stuff. And then I was like, oh, as I travel the world, I'm like, oh, it's not me,
hmm
it's them.
Them.
They don't like
Yeah.
themselves.
And that's what I've always thought too, because when I think back now, like as you were just saying back to my childhood, I really didn't have a good friend, didn't have a best friend.
Hmm.
They just sort of, you know,
Hmm.
they were there, but I don't, it was them, not me.
It was your
You
bright
know,
light. Yeah.
I just, it's like whatever, because I never did anything to anybody, you know, I just tried to be a best friend. But
Oh,
I look at
thanks.
it that now and it just like pops into my head that, yeah, no, it's not me, it was them.
It's your bright light that, and it's interesting because we all choose this path and to learn the lessons we need to learn, right? So they're hard
Hmm.
lessons, they're not easy.
Oh, yeah,
So it's
no.
interesting that you chose to be around, you know, a school where there are no kids that are going to be your bestie. And that's interesting because you had to learn to develop different techniques to
Hmm.
understand human behavior. So
Hmm.
you are very hypersensitive to facial expressions. Look at you
Hmm.
now, Miss Chatty Box, like can talk to anybody about anything. Anything. It's beautiful. You know how
Hmm.
hard that is for some people who don't have confidence, they can't talk. They're like, oh,
Hmm.
I don't just say, are they gonna like me? Like, you know how hard that is?
It's very hard,
So you've learned
very, very
that.
hard. And you know, and it's something that you got to get out of your comfort zone too.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I've done that a few times where I stepped out of my comfort zone and it felt good. It felt really good. And even like there's some other times that, you know, you even if, you know, somebody says, well, they're a healer in that, you got to be careful because they may not be the healer that they think they are.
Oh yeah, ego. Oh my God, yeah.
And they may be saying that I'm passing out good energy in that, but you're not getting that energy. They're not giving you that energy. They're giving you bad energy. And I've run into a few people like that, let me tell you.
Yeah, and see how it teaches you over time. It's like, oh, I need to trust my instincts because
Hmm.
you wanted to believe their words, but as an empath, we know they can't lie to us. I don't
Exactly.
know about you, but they can't, people can't lie to me.
No.
They
And it's
can't.
funny because the person tried to the hardest, you know, like they said they wanted the best for me and everything. And it's like,
They were
and you
lying.
didn't.
And you knew that. Did you know that at the
Hmm.
time?
Yeah.
Cool, eh?
Oh
You
yeah.
knew that at the time, but you were wanting to trust this person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the
It's like
lesson.
giving them a second chance. It's like, okay, prove me that you want
Yeah.
the best for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But
Yeah.
now you don't need those lessons. Now you trust your instincts, right?
Oh, I've pretty much trusted my instincts all my life, but there's just the odd time that, I'll give them more benefit than they should. I like to
But
give
that's
people the
you not
benefit of the
trusting
doubt.
your instincts. That's you not
That's
trusting
about
what
the
you
only
already
time.
know.
Yeah, that's about the only time. There's only been a few times like that. Most of the times I will trust my instincts.
Amazing.
Um, and, and I'll also know when to give over to, like have a person leave me. Like they say, there's people that come into your life for a reason and some that will stay for whatever. There's been times where I've had to literally walk away from a person.
Good.
And
Good.
I felt bad about it at the time, and there's sometimes I still feel bad, but um, I try to apologize to them and give them an idea of why I am doing what I'm doing, and then they just sort of cut you right off. It's like, okay, well, that was the right decision.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. Look,
time
if
for a
we,
season.
yeah, we have these invisible lines, and if you allow someone to cross it, shame on them. If they
Hmm.
do it again, shame on
Shame
me.
on you. Yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
I'm not respecting and protecting myself. They're going to take advantage, right?
Hmm.
The wolf in sheep clothing, they will try to do everything in their power to like convince you that they are nice and whatever reason and blah blah. But we know, and those are hard lessons we learn,
Hmm.
and that's the way it is. And look, what happens if you have a family member, a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, an uncle, a this, a cousin, and you get together
Hmm.
during this family times, and then they are disrespecting you because of their issues, and what do you
Hmm.
do then, right? And so I have that in my family, and I just have recently put down very, very firm boundaries. I'm like, nope, not gonna have it. Oh, but Corinne,
Yep.
this and that. Nope, not gonna have it. Oh, but uh-uh.
You
And they
have
know,
to.
and I feel them. They're actually, because I'm very in tune, I can tap in their field. I know that they're like confused and like this and that. I'm not there to do their work. And if they don't want to
No.
grow, that's fine. But I'm going to put my firm boundary and
Hmm.
say, this is what I'll accept. This is what I won't. And if you're not cool with it, I'm so sorry. Not sorry.
Hmm. And there's such a thing as called block. Just
Yes, if
block
it's very
them.
toxic, yes, for sure,
Yeah.
block. But it's not that it's so toxic because I know whenever they're saying whatever they're saying to me, it's coming from love. But they're
Yeah.
not understanding the empathy and they're not understanding um and they're not respecting me and my choices and how I choose to live my life.
Yeah.
They want me to have my website done. They want me to have this. They want me to have more money. They want me to have a house and kids and I want that too. But don't judge me and think that you're doing life better than me because you have more money or whatever reasons. Just love me and accept me. That's all I want is to be
Exactly.
loved and accepted. But my whole life, I have not had that from my family. That's why I'm the pink sheep. And and they always try to interject their opinions and this and that. I'm like, thank you very much, but I'm not asking. Thank you very much, but I
Yeah.
don't need that. Thank you. But all I'm gonna do is help and give. And they just don't understand how to I guess just yeah, just accept me, you know?
Hmm.
Because they
That's
want to help
true.
and give in their own way, but they're not
Hmm.
doing it in a respectful way. And that's what I'm like, boundaries, hello.
Yeah. And people have got to respect each other. I
Yeah,
mean, that is one thing that I find that I will give you respect, but you've got to earn that respect. It's just not an automatic thing. I'm not going to give
I'm
it to you
different.
because you're a person, um, because you think you get it. You give me a reason why I should respect you. I will respect. I will give keep boundaries in that, but at the same time, it's not an automatic with me. I can't give an
Mm.
automatic respect, especially if I see some things that I don't think are proper.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that makes sense, obviously.
Yeah,
For
and I
me, when
mean,
I'm
go ahead. Sorry.
no, 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 continue. Sorry.
No, I'm done.
Oh, and for me, you're so cute. For me, when I meet someone, it's like this. We're in neutral and love.
Hmm.
And so I automatically give respect and love right off the bat. And now it's what you choose to do with it when seconds, minutes, days, weeks, months, years is like how I'll love you more or I'll be
Mhm.
like, okay, no, like, wish you love and kindness, but not for me anymore, right?
Yeah.
But I right away I'm like, hi, I love you. Let's play in the playground of life. But that's just me. But we have been talking for an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh my heavens. I can't believe it.
I
This
know.
is the longest we've talked in a long time.
I know. I'm grateful, but I don't know how long your viewers want to listen or, I don't know.
Well, how about we can always do it another interview later. We'll schedule another time and we can continue on and we can
You're
get
so
deeper
cute.
into it. And but give me your details of how people can get a hold of you if they want your help.
Thank you. I guess so. I'm very active on Instagram and
I'll attest to that.
yeah, I like to dance and play and show everybody just like you can be in your pajamas, just dance, just have fun. Like who cares? I'll like sip a cappuccino. I noticed at the end of the reel, I'm like, oh, I've got foam there. I'm like, all right, who cares? Let's have fun.
Go with it.
Because what is perfect anyway? Anyways, and then I'll sometimes give just tidbits of like, I don't know, what do I do? What do I even talk about?
Oh, you've been it was number 36 today, I think.
Oh my God, good
Or was that
memory. I
yesterday?
just give like I don't even know what I do. I just give like tidbits of like character and human behavior stuff and
Life lessons.
experiences.
Life
Yeah, life
lessons.
lessons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Life lessons, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I
What's your
do.
handle? What's your handle on Instagram?
Okay, so on Instagram, it's Corinne, Corinne, Sunshine Events. And then my website is Corinne Sunshine.
.com.
Yeah, .com, sorry. Oh yeah, these days everything is like dot
It's got
this,
a
dot that.
they can have a billion dots or a little
Oh
after
yeah.
there, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
So and update your website.
I know, my God.
And actually, people, if you want to look at her website, it is beautiful. It is so colorful. It is so pretty. And she's got the
Thanks.
most beautiful photo on there of her. I used that photo for my page, my web page, which is Coffee
Mm,
Time with Lori. And it just it just beams. It's a beautiful picture and it just shows you absolutely full of love. But
thank you.
we will schedule another time. We will do another session because there's so much more to go into all these different little
That's life.
things. Different, yeah, all the different avenues, the Reiki, the healing, the um
You do Reiki. I don't do Reiki. I do my own thing. I don't even know what it's called.
no, it's cranky. Just
It's
invented a new
I
word.
don't even know what
It's
I
Corinne
don't even know
Reiki.
what it's called. And I don't even know if I
Well,
could
you
ever
do a
teach
lot
you.
of healing, so we'll
Hmm.
lump that in with the healing.
Hmm.
But honestly, Corinne is a fabulous person. And, you know, if you need some assistance with her or assistance in your life, give her a little chat on there on Instagram or go to her website because I know she'll get it updated. And if there's
She
anybody out there
believes
who'd
in
like
me.
to update Corinne's webpage, that would be fantastic. She'll give you a free healing lesson.
And energy exchange.
Exactly. There you go.
Hmm. Hmm.
And maybe I'll go back over to Ralphie's retreat sanctuary and see
Yeah.
my friend Char Char
Oh my
and
God, so
see how he is
cute.
and give some
He
healing
loves
over
you.
there.
He needs you.
They're just beautiful animals, and some of them have been so abused, and it was actually heartbreaking to see. And the fact that she wants to make a hospice hospital on the
Oh,
farm
beautiful.
so that the animals can go across the Rainbow Bridge
Oh,
like a human can, because hospices here are fabulous. I mean, if I need to, go to the next stage, I want to go to hospice because they're fabulous.
where's your
And
coffee?
I finished it, but here it
Cheers.
is.
Cheers.
Cheers. I even
Coffee
have a
with
Miss
coffee
Lori
with
mug.
Lori.
Yep, I
I
even
can't.
have it's got Miss Lori on it.
Oh, I love you. You're adorable. I like that heart.
Yeah, well, I love hearts. Hearts
I
are
think I think it'd be fun to do a
special.
cheers with your people that you interview every time. And
Actually,
thanks for tuning
I'm
in.
thinking, yeah, it would be great because the whole idea, coffee time with Lori.
Yeah.
And I actually, and that's the other thing, I gave up coffee.
Oh.
I have a coffee substitute now,
Oh, mushrooms?
mushroom coffee
Good girl.
and calf lib.
And what?
Calf lib. I'm
I
not
have to look
sponsored
into
by
that.
them, but it's a jar, looks like it's a big jar, and it's like it just looks like coffee, basically. It's chicory
Yeah, yeah,
root.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah, chicory root. Okay, cool.
I've been doing those. I've actually got mushroom coffee on order, and it should be here any day.
Good
Love it.
girl.
Oh my
Yeah,
heavens, that's
I'm gonna make
amazing
my
stuff.
own. I'm gonna make my own coffee substitute as well. That's like another goal that I have in the future.
How would you
You
make
know,
it?
because I so you go and harvest, you harvest
Hmm.
lion's mane, reishi, and you dehydrate it properly. And
Hmm.
then also I want dandelion root in that because it's so good for
I've been drinking dandelion tea. I used to drink it years ago, but I've started back up again.
it's
It's
so
amazing.
yummy.
Oh, it is.
For those who haven't tried it, Lori will tell you it tastes like espresso pretty much. If you need to get off coffee and you need a shot of like a strong espresso flavor, but it's actually completely healthy for you, I love it. It's called Dandy Blend or Dandy Blend
Hmm.
because they have it sweetened with, yeah, chicory root and all that. Anyways, we gotta go. I love
Yep.
you.
I love you too.